There are a few different ways of getting MySQL. One of them is to go to dev.mysql.com/downloads and simply get it from here. You can go to current release, click on that link, then if you scroll down you can choose your platform. Now that's all fine, but obviously when you're watching this video and thinking that perhaps I will be using MySQL with PHP and Apache server, so you can install MySQL as, on your machine actually without installing those two other components. But I suppose the easiest way to do it would be to just have a package which you just install in one go. You've got to install Apache, PHP and MySQL rather than playing with all these configurations, settings and so on. So for Mac users, you go to mump.info and you simply download the free version of MUMP, which is Apache, MySQL and PHP all together. If you want to have a little bit more of a control, you can get a MUMP Pro. Again, you have to pay a little bit for this. For Windows users, there are two other options. One of them is XAMPP and the other is WAMP server. If you are a Linux user, then you obviously can use XAMPP as well. XAMPP has been released for Linux, Windows, Macs, Solaris, and so on. So these are the options. Now I'm going to be using MUMP server as I'm working on a Mac here. But again, it doesn't really matter. The rules, the entire video, the entire series actually applies the same rules to all other platforms. Okay, so now let's get into understanding a little bit more of the MySQL, how it works, what rules are, and so on. First thing to remember is that each record within the table should have its own unique ID by which we can recognize this specific record. Second thing, the groups of information should be stored within its own separate table. Let's say we've got table colors, which stores color names. Then we've got table sizes, which stores sizes names. And so on. We've got main table, let's say shoes, which stores general information about the product, like title, description, and that's it. And perhaps the price as well. Then we will refer to those external lookup tables by using relationships. And this is where we're going to be actually referring to the unique IDs. Now, next thing, store just one type of information in one field, in one cell of a table. Which means if we've got, let's say, product title, do not store the price together with the title because they are of a different data type. And later on, if we want to retrieve the price from a title, it's going to be much more difficult than obviously having it actually stored in its own separate cell. Now, in terms of naming in MySQL, there are a few simple rules which you need to follow. The maximum characters for the database name or table name is 64. So do not exceed 64 characters when you're naming your tables or databases. Now, you can use numbers, letters, underscores, and dollar signs actually in your naming, and that's basically it. If you just follow this simple rule, that's all fine. Now, naming, you can start with the number, but the name actually cannot consist exclusively of the numbers. So remember about this as well. Now, case sensitivity. Windows and Mac do not care about a case. They are case insensitive, but Linux does. And because most probably you will be hosting your new website on a Linux web server, then obviously make sure that the case you are using is consistent. Now, next video will be dedicated to the relational concept. So we'll have a look at why do we call MySQL relational and what relational actually is in practice.